It's never been easier or cheaper to start a business. So why do so many startups fail then? That's the answer I'm going to give you today. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Erkka Suvanto. Some of you call me EJ. I'm the guy who's on social media to build a legacy for his kids and pass on all the life and business lessons. I'm a real estate investor, entrepreneur, and a business coach, willing to teach my lessons to all of you guys. It's never been easier to start a business, make money, or get in shape. We have all the information at our fingertips. A generation ago, you had to put your own house as collateral when starting a business, or you had to trust your instinct at the gym so that you were doing the right things. There was no Google, there were no YouTube how-to videos available. The problem also is that it's never been easier to do nothing. In today's video, I'm going to give you my 3-point hurdle list as far as what to avoid and what to do to get that startup going or to take those initial steps with your new business. Step number 1, taking action. If it's never been easier to do nothing, then doing something becomes extraordinary. Why is doing something then so damn difficult? I believe one of the biggest issues is that people were taught in school that there was only one right answer for every question. Back in the day, when you participated in that test or in that quiz, there was right or wrong. You got that instant feedback from your teacher or from your school. But the real life doesn't work that way. Instead of there being only one right answer, there actually are several right answers, but only one wrong answer, which is to do nothing. But many people consider doing something reckless. I received a lot of feedback when I talk a lot about taking action and getting directionally right and getting going. Just take those initial steps. That it's better to wait and collect the information than making a stupid mistake. I completely disagree. Doing something is always better than doing nothing because it teaches us a lesson. It shows us whether the chosen direction or the chosen path is the right one. We can always pivot and change directions. But fear of losing face, fear of making mistakes is typically the one that blocks or stops us from taking those first steps. And going back to those school lessons, if you're waiting for that right answer, that perfect package of information, you'll most likely be waiting for the rest of your life because that never comes. So taking action is the first step. Another thing that's very hard for us people is that we oftentimes don't have the courage to admit that we don't know. I strongly believe that this also dates back to our school and childhood years. And I've suffered from this greatly myself. It's always been hard for me to admit that I have no idea. At school it was easy for me because I was a good student. I studied hard, I did my homework, so I most of the time had the right answers. But if I look back and analyze those years, I can clearly see the connection there. That type of a behavior drives us towards conclusions where admitting that we don't know, we don't have a clue, looks bad on us. And I think us adults, we suffer from that today as well. Admitting that we have no clue is such a relief because I believe that even the most successful people are the same. They don't have a clue either. I think having a clue is overrated. The way we need to look at it is that we're going to get started, take action, and trust that we're going to figure it out along the way. Because nobody at the end of the day has a clue. I'm 47 now. Every morning I wake up and I wonder what I'm going to do today. I have a plan. I had a plan the previous night. I wake up and I oftentimes start questioning it. It's normal. But I think what separates us from those people who don't take action, because I put myself in the bucket of people who take action, is that I still make the conscious decision every day to move forward, regardless of those doubts, regardless of the fact that I don't have a clue, or I believe that I'm not sure if this is going to work out. Because I believe so strongly in the value of taking action that it overpowers every other doubt that I have in my mind. But doing that something and taking action is simply obviously not enough. It all requires a lot of time. And that's where point number 2, patience, comes into play. To me, the best definition of patience is being able to continue working without seeing the immediate results of your own work. So in other words, you keep moving the goalposts. And how is this possible in real life? I disconnect the outcome from the work itself. It's like building a ladder. Let's say my ultimate outcome or my goal is to get to the top of my roof to fix my chimney. And I need to build a ladder. So I keep building the ladder rung by rung, step by step. I need to source this special material for the project, and it takes me several weeks because I'm a beginner. To the outside world, the outcome looks like me being able to climb all the way up to the top of the roof and fix my chimney. But what if I'm able to separate that outcome from the actual daily work of being able to install one rung at a time and find gratification by just doing that? So there's the external part and then there's the internal part. So that to me is what patience is all about. You keep yourself busy while waiting for the outcome to happen. And when we start taking action and we practice being patient, it's like going to a casino when you're a starter. You just started your business. You have nothing to lose. Imagine somebody telling you that, hey, welcome to my casino to play poker, and you have nothing to lose. You start at zero. There's no way going below zero. So I'll let you play until you start getting results. That's what entrepreneurship is all about when you start from scratch. You have nothing to lose. Your patience is measured based on how long you can stay in the game. So if that was the phrase that was instilled in us in the beginning, I think many people would look at patience in a very, very different way. So me personally, I've naturally been very patient, but I still have been forced to practice that a lot. And the way I've done that, I have disconnected the outcome from the work. And there was a time when I felt a little lost with my business life. But I started analyzing my own life in more detail and realized that, hey, wait a minute. I only need to go back to my fitness years. I've been training now for 31 years. Is there a better example than myself staying committed to my fitness goals for such a long time? It's not about years, it's about decades. And I plan on staying in that game for another, 30 or 40 years. So in that game, I've been able to keep delaying my gratification so far out into the future that I have basically ignored the final goal. I just get that gratification by leaving everything on the gym floor, by emptying my tank on a daily basis. So that's my gratification, and the results come when they come. Remembering that now isn't forever, good things and bad things. With good things, it's a matter of prioritizing between the different options you have. And this is the harder one of the two for me. For so many years, I was trying to be a perfect dad, train like a pro athlete, and build a startup at the same time. And as you know, everybody understands that something has to give. It's not possible. But I was stubborn. I wasn't very smart or intelligent, because one of the ways how you can measure intelligence is the rate of learning. Same conditions, new behavior. So I kept being exposed to same conditions, but my behavior didn't change. So I wasn't very smart. I didn't learn my lessons until it was too late and things started to happen. Nothing catastrophic, but I had to deal with consequences, which was a good learning point for me in life. There is an effort level that is required that is actually very minimal to maintain a skill set. But in order to get better at something, you need to ramp up that effort level by 10x. So if I wanted to be a perfect dad, train like a pro athlete, and build a business, that's the same as being 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 in all three areas. And that's not possible. What would have been a good strategy for me is to raise my effort level to 9 or 10 when it comes to being a dad, and focus on that for X number of years, and understanding that the other two are not going anywhere. But that's where I was really bad. I didn't know how to do this. And lately, when I talk about being able to say no, learning how to say no, this is exactly what I mean. I need to be comfortable in understanding that I need to put something on a back burner while something on a pedestal. Now, for instance, when I'm focusing on ramping up my new business, what I do is that I actually train a little less. So for the last month or month and a half, I haven't done any cardio in the mornings anymore. So I basically just lift weights 4 days a week, and that's been my routine. And on those 3 other mornings, I start to work right away, 5 minutes after I wake up. So I prioritize work on those days. So I don't even take that an hour and a half or 2 hours that I dedicate to training in those mornings. So that's how important starting up this new business is to me. So that's an example of what I've been able to learn when it comes to nothing is forever. The other thing regarding this is the so-called bad things, meaning that we need to understand that nothing is forever, meaning if we go in through a rough period of time, that doesn't last forever. So there's a time when it's really, really slow, and then all of a sudden the results seem to all come at once. That's how it seems to work. It's like building that ladder up to your roof that I just mentioned. So you keep building and building and building, and that neighbor who just sees you once a week doesn't see the finished product. To him or her, it looks like you're not making any progress because that unfinished ladder is on your concrete patio, and he or she doesn't see the half-finished product, so it doesn't see the 10% progress or 5% progress per week. And then all of a sudden it's all up there. So it's from 0 to 100% all at once. So that's how it seems to go in business and with many activities that are closely linked to patience. So I could keep posting these videos, I can make this content day after day, year after year, and all of a sudden something goes viral. And then I get a lot of popularity, or I get a lot of business, I get a lot of attention, whatever my metric is or my goal is. But that's the way it seems to work. I've been always good at that, so meaning the bad side, if I call it the bad side of nothing is forever, but it's the prioritization that I mentioned first that has been really hard for me to understand what is it that I'm going to say no to in order to be really, really super good at one thing. Coming back to the last and the third point, doing the right things. In the beginning, I mentioned that it's never been easier or cheaper to start a business. But let's not sugarcoat it. It's not easy out there. It's always been hard, and it will always be hard to break through. And that's the way it's supposed to be. If we talk about social media, the demand and supply is always what matters. There is plenty of supply out there. We have talked about this in the past, but if we think about it, all the attention is on the 7 social media channels today that are dominating the market. In the past, it was 50s and 60s, radio, then TV, cable TV, then came internet in 2000, and then mobile internet and social media platforms took over 10, 15 years after that. And it's been like that ever since. If you go to a dentist, go anywhere where you see people, the way people kill time nowadays is that they stare at their phone, they scroll down, that constant loop of looking for that instant feedback from that phone, that gratification, that deep addiction. So for us business owners, that's good. Now that we understand it, there's demand and there's supply. Gary Vee talks about underpriced attention. When I started my business 15 years ago, Google AdWords were the thing, and there was a really good return on investment buying the Google ads. So I was able to get a lot of deals through that, advertising direct to homeowners. It's not like that anymore. Breaking through or having a video go viral in social media takes a lot of effort. We talk about organic social media content, how ads cannot look like ads anymore. They are smart stories where you have incorporated your brand, the product or the service in a much more intelligent way compared to what it used to be. It's the social media platforms and those 7 channels where people spend their time. And from a marketer's perspective, it's still free. We don't know how that's going to change potentially in the virtual reality. We don't know which companies control that piece of technology or the IP. What happens with artificial intelligence, we don't know. So the point here is that it's really hard to identify the right actions, because every small company, if we are below $1 million a year, as a good rule of thumb, needs to market and promote more, because there's a reason why we are small. TikTok seems to be getting or giving better bang for your buck than Instagram, for instance, according to many people who are deep in the industry, because there's better demand and a little less supply. I don't know the tactics that well, so I'm going to say I don't know. But what I do know is that there are 3 cornerstones that I base my business on, my new business, and these are the principles I have followed in the past as well. Number one is authenticity. Nobody's going to beat you at being you. Why would you ever want to be anybody else than you? I strongly believe that we are all good at something. We just need to spend enough time finding that niche, finding that interest area that becomes our passion through hard work. It's not going to be easy. Some people find it when they are 40, some people when they are 60, but everybody should be looking for that area of activity or that interest area where we can excel and be really, really super good. But before that, think about this analogy. If you borrowed something from other people, stealing ideas or trying to pretend to be somebody else, it's like building a foundation for your house, borrowing somebody else's cinder blocks. What happens after 5 years or 10 years if a friend of yours comes back and, hey, I need those cinder blocks back? You're like, oh yeah, wait a minute, let me just yank them out. And your whole house collapses. That's how authenticity to me is. So we have no other option but to build our own house based on our core values and strengths. Otherwise, we are fakes. Nobody wants to be a fake. State the facts, tell the truth. That's always the best strategy to base your business on. And number two, focus on excellence. There are 3 skills that every entrepreneur needs to master, and in this order. It's sell, build, and lead. Sell in order to grow beyond that 1 million. We need to know how to market and promote and sell our company. Number 2, we need to learn how to build. Build, not necessarily build a house, but to design a product or service. Understand the value chain, put together a unique offer and all the building blocks related to it. Because that's how you build your brand. That's how you build customer loyalty. That's how you get referrals. And that's how you get that excellent product or service that serves as your legacy going forward. That's why we need that building skill. And that's why we need to focus on product excellence above anything. Just worry about what the customer needs. Number 3, regarding this, provide value. Give, give, give until people ask. We all seem to be in a hurry to put together the unique offer and that next idea that somebody's going to buy from us and then we become millionaires. I think the long game is the only game how we should be playing it. This ties back to patience strongly that we just covered. But to me, it's all about understanding that it's in the long term where all the success and where all the good things happen. In order for us to provide value, we need to understand what the customer needs. Identify a problem and solve a problem. That's a formula that always works. In my case, the offer I'm putting together is basically this. I'm going to work with you for free for X number of weeks, say 16 weeks. All you have to do is give me feedback at the end of that 16 weeks. If you're not happy, let me know how I can be better. If you are happy and satisfied with the service you got, write a testimonial, give a recommendation, and I can publish that. That's all I'm asking. If after that you want to continue, let's talk about pricing. I got 2 customers this way. One person I've worked with over the last 3 to 4 months, and today I got my 2nd customer. So I'm building my way up. I haven't advertised yet, so this is all word to mouth. So I like that, but I'm gonna take the long road. I'm gonna build my next business step by step so that the foundation is solid. That concludes the video for today. I hope you enjoyed what I had to offer. If you liked the videos, please hit the subscribe and the like buttons. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.